Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to say farewell. And by that I mean say farewell to my ER6n and bring on the welcoming of something new. So let's get to a different place before we get in. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Alright, it's taken me quite a bit of moment to get into an area where I can talk in peace without having to worry that somebody's going to murder into me, run over me, or any of the above. So, as I mentioned earlier, or I think I mentioned, I don't know if I'm putting that in the intro. As you've seen, the intro sequence, I gave my ER6n a little wash and tightened the chain. Reason I gave her a little bit of love this morning is because today was meant to be my last voyage with my ER6n. Reason for that is that she is going to be sold. Yep, after 1 year of ownership, I'm selling my first bike, my first actual bike. I say first real bike because of the fact that, not because it's a Harley, because obviously it's not a Harley. I say it because it's the first actual motorcycle that I've owned that counts as a motorcycle. My first bike was a old chopper, Chinese 200cc chopper inspired bike. It was big, fat, heavy, and slow. You could go maybe 50 miles an hour on it and be scared shitless. So my first bike, almost coming up on 1 year of ownership, ironically. And the main reason that I'm selling it, or the only reason I'm really selling it, is because I am moving to the United States. I am moving back to the United States, to be precise. So, main thing I want to cover, it's been 1 year, what I think about the bike. I think it's a great bike. I even recommend it as a good starter bike. Something you can learn on if you're careful. And something you can grow into. Because honestly, if I weren't leaving, I'd keep this bike. Now, it's not perfect. And now that I've gotten more accustomed to riding, there's a lot of stuff that I would change on it, that I would correct. There's a lot of stuff that I would change on it to make it better. But I think it's a great bike for what it is. It is a urban motorcycle. It's not meant to be blazing down the highway at 100 miles an hour. Shit, I don't even like going 80 miles an hour on this thing. hence why I won't be picking up another one in the States. I'd love to, but it's great for the environment I use it in, which is urban, city, little highway, weekend long rides and groups where you're not going too fast. So let's talk about the good things, the things that I really like. It is a relatively light motorcycle. It's not it is not overwhelmingly heavy. It's got good power. It's easy to ride. I mean, it's very flickable. It's very flickable, it's very stable. It's more than happy to jump from lane to lane. It has pretty good brakes for its, size. It has sport bike size brakes, 320 millimeter front. And it has a very torquey engine. Let's see if I can get a little pull here. So yeah, it's manageable. And the thing is that power is not aggressive. It's easygoing. The power is easygoing. It's smooth. You really have to put your wrist into it so it never catches you off guard. I mean, I basically learned how to properly ride on this motorcycle. It was intimidating. It was scary. Yes. Did it take me time? Yes. Did I wish I started on a smaller bike? Not exactly. I would have wished I spent more time on a smaller cc bike so I could understand the behavior, because when I first went on a tour on this motorcycle, I took a ride on some twisty roads, and I went with a group of mostly small motorcycles, and I had a hard time keeping up. And the only reason I kept up is because I knew that if they could make the corners, I could make the corners, so long as I kept on believing that. And I did. But I was scared to push harder. So I didn't know how motorcycles react in corners, just like I know how cars behave because I've been driving for so long. But I didn't know when the tires could give out, what signs would the bike give me. So it was intimidating at first. But eventually, since it's a bigger bike, it has good power, has pretty decent handling, I could grow into it. And I did. And it doesn't make it too complicated to do so. It's very forgiving. What else? What else do I like about this bike? It's cheap. It's easy on. It's good on gas. It's a Kawasaki, so it's very well built. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So it feels very well built. I've had no issues with it at all. There's only one issue this bike has that I've come across regarding maintenance wise and stuff, and that is the starter. The starter has issues. You have to click it several times for it to start. Let's talk about the stuff that I do not like about this motorcycle. What I do not like: one, the big ass antenna ears. I guess they look like ears in some ways. The big antenna styled mirrors. Here we go. They look funky. I saw a bike without them in person and it looked beautiful. Second, the bars. The bars are very high. I wish I was further leaned into the bike. But then again, this is a standard bike. A lot of the topics, the things that I'm going to point out on this bike are just things that come down to the category of motorcycle, who's it's aimed at, and the fact that it's kind of built on a budget. So the mirrors, every bike's mirrors suck. I wish I had bar end mirrors or something smaller, better looking. The controls. Now, initially, I found it to be just fine. It was great. But now that I've ridden for a bit on this motorcycle, I wish my feet were further back. I'm learning to keep my feet off of the controls, and that means my feet are starting to sit a little bit flatter, and I wish they were further back. Fourth, the seat. The seat sucks. It is big, it's wide, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. It has nearly no give in it. It's really, really hard, and it has virtually no give in it. So when you sit, you don't feel it plush. You can get a seat cover for that. What else? Looks perspective. I'm not a fan of the front light. I was gonna do a round light conversion, make it look a little bit more retro. I don't like the fact that instead of a tack at the top, I have a speedometer, which I can barely even read, which I can't even see the kilometers on it. I don't like digital rev counters that much. I like analog. Now, stuff that you can't really change. Being a parallel twin, vibrations suck. When I first rode this motorcycle, I rode it for about 1 hour, and my hands hurt. My hands were vibrating. I could still feel the vibration in them. I think I was using gloves at the time, so it's not the gloves. But I've grown accustomed to them, I don't know. But it vibrates like crazy. And now that I don't have the slip-on on it, because I couldn't record, it was so loud that it interfered with my recordings. I had to take it off. But now that I don't have the slip-on it, I notice it a lot more. What would I change on it? Mirrors, bars, headlight, maybe even a Ninja 650 dash to get the analog tack. Oh, the other thing, this bike could actually lose some weight. It's not too heavy, but it could lose some weight. Oh yeah, the whale tail. The rear end of this seat looks stupid. Some angles it looks kind of cool, but they fix it on the models I followed, so I mean whatever. But the pegs, the bars, the mirrors, all fixable stuff. The vibrations you just get used to. It's a parallel twin, it's part of the game. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna pull over in this recording. I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see if I record a little bit more, but it's getting dark. It's gonna look like shit. If I ride tomorrow during the day, I'll make a little topic about what it was to get on this bike and learn how to ride on it. Alright guys, later.